Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. This morning I'm going to try and make some muffins in my Vitamix. Now, I hope this works. I really do. I've never tried doing this before in the Vitamix. But first thing we want to do is get our dry ingredients mixed in a separate bowl. So here we go. All right. This is 1.5 cups, and I'm using bread flour, but you could use all-purpose flour, and 1/2 cup of whole wheat bread flour. So, well, whole wheat flour, period. So 1/2 cup whole wheat flour, 1.5 cups of bread flour. So I'm just going to dump those in, and I did sift them before I measured. Okay. 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'll dump that in. And 1 teaspoon of salt, which I just spilled. Let me get some more salt here. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I don't know what's the matter with me this morning. I think I'm still asleep. All right, 1/2 teaspoon of salt right in there. All right. Now, I want to tell y'all, we don't do bloopers, and the reason we don't is because the bloopers just stay right in the video because I don't do any editing, so just so you know. All right, so here's my flour mixture, baking soda and baking powder. I'm just going to whisk that around together. Now, to this flour mixture, I'm going to add 1 cup of frosted flakes. Now, I think you could add any kind of cereal you wanted, but I put the flakes in a measuring cup and kind of mashed them down, broke them up just a little bit. So put that right in with your flour and just mix that all around. All right, now we're going to set this aside, and I'm going to clean up that salt I just spilled. There we go. All right, so now we're ready for our wet ingredients, and that's what I'm going to use the Vitamix for. Now, I've already greased the muffin pan, and it's 12. It'll make 12 muffins. All right, let me see if I can move y'all closer. Let's see if we can do that. There. All right, I think you can see better now. Okay, so to the Vitamix, we're going to add 2 whole eggs, 1/3 cup of almond milk, this is 1/2 cup of potato, sweet potato that was previously baked, and I just cut one up and measured it out to 1/2 cup, and then 1 small apple, and this is a pink lady apple, so you can tell from my hand about the size of it. It's kind of a small apple. So I just cored that and peeled it. I'm going to dump that in now. Alright, so now we're about ready to do something different. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon. And I put that in because if I put it in with my flour mixture, it kind of fogs all up, you know, which I don't like. All right, so 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. One-half cup of raisins, and these are golden raisins. 1 cup of English walnuts, and these are just pieces. 3/4 a cup of dark brown sugar, and you want to pack that down before you measure it. That's 3/4 of a cup. 1 tablespoon of the chia seeds, and I figure I might as well put these in. You really won't be able to taste them, and we'll get that extra nutrition right in the Vitamix. 2 tablespoons of butter, and this is somewhat at room temperature. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to need my tapper. Alright, let me clean this out of the way. Alright, we are ready. I've never done this before, so y'all be patient, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put my tapper in because I'm almost positive I will definitely need it. Alright, here we go. We're going to start out on variable speed. First of all, I need to turn my machine on. Go up to about 5. Now what this did is completely just pulverized the raisins, the nuts, the chia seeds, and mix that all in with the eggs and the brown sugar and vanilla and apple and sweet potato. So now I've got my liquid. Alright. And I might need a little more almond milk. I'm just really not sure. So now I'm going to mix this in to my dry ingredients. Alright. Here's my flour. So I'm going to see how this goes. Okay, this little spatula that they sent me really works well to get down in there between the blades. Just works really well. And these are muffins, so you know, we want them dry enough to be able to put butter on them, but we don't want them too dry. So the apple and the sweet potato, hopefully, will make them somewhat dry. And the frosted flakes in there will give them a little more sweetness, and they will, you know, cause them to be a little lighter, I think, than they would be without them. Alright. Let's see how this goes. I'm just going to use this spatula to mix this up. And of course, even the butter, you really wouldn't even have to have that at room temperature. You could just kind of throw it in, you know. Alright, it smells really good. And I'll have to tell you that when you mix the apple, sweet potato, and the walnuts together, it has a real similar taste to persimmon pudding, really. Alright, now remember I've sifted my flour, so there really aren't any of that kind of lumps in the mixture. And you don't have to have it so thoroughly mixed, because it'll all work out. Alright, now I'm going to put this in the muffin pans. So if you still see flour in there, you know, don't worry about it, because it will still work out. Alright, so I'm going to use a large tablespoon. And I want these cups filled up, you know, really to the top. Even though they're going to rise some, you know, I want them kind of big, really. And by the way, when you're cooking these, or when you're making these, you can definitely fix them in the food processor with no problem. The food processor will grind everything up really about as good as the Vitamix, but the reason I like the Vitamix is because it's much easier to clean than the food processor. I'm hoping this is going to work out perfectly, but I'm not sure. And again, I go ahead and fill the cups right up to the top. And see how there's some flour still there? Don't even worry about that. It'll definitely cook right into the muffin, because you really don't want to do a whole lot of mixing when you're making muffins, when you get to the part where you're adding the flour. Alright, I'm going to actually fill these super full. We'll just see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It go over in your oven, right? And I do like muffins that are all puffed up, so I'll just go ahead and overfill them a little bit since I've got plenty of the batter here. Alright, we've about got it. Oh, sorry. Y'all couldn't even see what I was doing, could you? Alright. And again, to me, this tastes like persimmon pudding. Now, I couldn't find any persimmons, and I had really looked. It's just not persimmon season. Their season, I think, kind of ends in December, maybe. Alright, now we are hoping that these will puff up tall, but not run over. That would be the best thing. If they don't run over. Alright, we're ready to bake these. Now I'm going to bake these at 350 degrees for probably 30 minutes, but I'm not sure since I haven't done a recipe like this in the Vitamix and added the cornflakes to it and that kind of thing. And I really got that idea from one of the recipes in the book, added bran flakes. And I ain't got no bran flakes, and I don't like bran flakes. So there, that's what they look like. So in the oven, 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and then check them. It might take longer than that, but I'm thinking 30 minutes. All right, when these get done, we'll be back. I wanted to just show you how to clean the Vitamix. Now, a lot of y'all have the Vitamix, and you certainly already know this, but for those of you who don't have a Vitamix, I wanted to show you how easy it is to clean them. Now, unlike a blender, you don't really take it apart. The blade doesn't come out. In fact, they recommend that you not take it apart, although I think you could. There's some kind of little bolt on the bottom. But anyway, now all I did was rinse it out and rinse the lid out. And I put about 2.5 cups of hot water in there and about 2 drops of Dawn liquid detergent, dish detergent. So I'm just going to turn it on now. That's it. It's all clean. All you have to do now is rinse it out and just, I turn mine over on a dishcloth just to drain and dry. That's all there is to it. It's done. Alright, we'll be back when the muffins are done, and I can already smell them. They smell great. Be back in a minute. Okay, I've just taken these out of the oven, and here's what they look like. Now, I would suggest that you mix your cornflakes and flour a little better, or either wait till the end to put in the cornflakes, because I did get a little flour on top of some of them. But anyway, they look pretty good and they smell great. So even while they're still hot, I'm going to see if I can't get one of these out and show you what it looks like. I'll just take this one right here on the corner. There it is. Can y'all? It doesn't show up very well on the black plate. I'll see if I can hold it in my hand. It's very hot. There's what it looks like. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and just put some butter right down in the middle of this. Let that melt for just a second. All right. So I'm really busy trying to adapt some of my recipes to the, let me back off a little bit. Back off. Trying to adapt some of my recipes that I used to fix in the food processor to the Vitamix. And the main reason I'm doing that is because the Vitamix is so easy to clean. I don't know how y'all are with the food processors, but they are so annoying to clean. And I don't know, have y'all ever cut your hand on the blade? I have. Maybe only a couple of times, because once you do, because I mean it cuts deep, right? Then you know to be real careful. But I usually put my food processor, right in the dishwasher, but then it takes up so much room. So I like the Vitamix that you can just put some water, rinse it out, put some hot water in it, a couple of drops of dish detergent, turn it on, rinse it out, and you're good to go. So that's a big deal for me. All right, so this butter is melted in this little muffin now. Let me cut that in two and let y'all have a look at it. It's pretty healthy, I think. All right, here's what it looks like. Now you could use, you could substitute anything for the sweet potato. I mean, you could use butternut squash. You could use, you could even use regular squash. All kinds of things. So let me see if I can taste this. Still a little hot. I can still see a little bit of that flour in there, but that won't hurt a thing. My suggestion would be mix the dough in with the flour in with the wet ingredients, and then the last thing, put the corn flakes or bran flakes, whatever you decide to use. It's very good, and you get that little crunch with the corn flake. It'd be great with a cup of coffee if you drink coffee. I don't drink coffee, so for me it would be tea. Gotta try a little more. Yeah, I like that crunch. They're very moist, very moist. They're good. Okay, I think we got a winner. And the only thing is, I would say, is to, again, add the corn flakes last, or whatever cereal you use. That way you won't get that little flour on them like that. But anyway, they are quite good, and they're super moist. And by the way, it only took 25 minutes to cook them. So anyway, we will see y'all next time.